Hey, I'm Adam Jusko from ProudMoney.com, and in this video we are going to look at the best Bank of America credit cards. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So we're going to look at the best Bank of America credit cards. There's going to be sort of a review and ranking of the main consumer cards. We've done this in the past. Some things have changed since last year, so it's about time for an update to this video. Now, before I talk about what those cards are and rank them, there are two things I want to mention. Number one is the fact that we are only going to be talking about the main consumer cards from Bank of America, meaning those that are not co-brand cards, the sort of general market cards from Bank of America. That means we're not going to talk about the Alaska Airlines Visa. We're not going to talk about Amtrak or Virgin Atlantic or any of the cruise cards that they have. Only really the four sort of main cards that Bank of America offers to consumers. Now, I'm also going to mention some of these specialty cards later on as well, but for the most part, we're talking about four main cards here. And then number two, I need to talk about the Bank of America Preferred Rewards program. So overall, I don't tend to think of Bank of America as having, the most generous rewards cards on the market. However, if you are a Bank of America customer who has sort of a significant relationship with Bank of America, you can be part of the Preferred Rewards program that can give you a significant boost in the rewards that you get from Bank of America credit cards. So specifically, if you have a checking account with Bank of America and you have at least $20,000 with Bank of America, either in that checking account or in other accounts within Bank of America and Merrill Lynch, then you can get a bonus on your rewards. So at that $20,000 level, you would get a 25% bonus. If you have $50,000 with Bank of America, you would get a 50% bonus on the rewards you receive on these Bank of America credit cards. And if you have $100,000 with Bank of America, which admittedly is quite a bit, you would get a 75% bonus on all the rewards that you earn on the cards that I'm going to talk about. There are other perks to the Preferred Rewards program as well, so if you have a significant Bank of America relationship already or you're willing to start one, there are also other things that you can get beyond credit cards, such as increased interest on savings accounts, investing goodies, and all sorts of other things as well. But we're going to focus on credit cards, and so I will talk about those bonuses as we go along when we look at the cashback or points that you might get from each of these cards. All right, on to the cards. So the best Bank of America credit card, as far as we are concerned, is the Bank of America Cash Rewards card. And it has one feature in particular that we think is very distinctive in today's marketplace. So the Bank of America Cash Rewards card is a no annual fee cashback card that gives you those cashback rewards using the following formula. So you earn 3% cashback in one purchasing category of your choice from a list of categories that Bank of America provides. So that list includes gas, online shopping, travel, dining, drugstores, and home improvement and home furnishing stores. So you choose which one of those categories you want to get 3% cash back in. You also earn 2% cash back at grocery stores and wholesale clubs. You earn 1% cash back everywhere else that you use the card. Now, there is sort of a limit here in those 3% and 2% categories that you're going to want to be aware of. So you earn that 3% and 2% on up to $2,500 in purchases each calendar quarter in those combined categories. So if you are, earning 3% on gas and the 2% in the, grocery and wholesale clubs, and you hit $2,500 from purchases in both of those categories together, after that point, you would then only earn 1%. So that is something that is important to know, especially if any of those categories are ones that you are an especially heavy spender in. Now, otherwise with this card, there also, as of the making of this video, is a bonus opportunity. You can earn $200 if you spend spend $1,000 with the card in the first 3 months of having it. Now, there's two things I want to point out about those rewards. Number one is one of those 3% categories that you heard was online shopping. Now, this is not a category that you often are going to find a 3% cashback rate with other credit cards on the market, and obviously is a fairly wide category in terms of the number of things that you can purchase online. So if you're somebody that regularly shops online and you chose online shopping as your 3% category, obviously that would be a good thing. Plus, if you're thinking about that $2,500 limit between the 3% category and the 2% on grocery and wholesale club purchases, you might want to go heavier towards the 3% purchases and use your other credit cards if possible to get 2% on grocery and wholesale clubs if you can, because you're going to want to weight that 3% category more so that you're not hitting that $2,500 limit off a bunch of 2% purchases when you really want to get 3% up to that $2,500 limit. And then the second point I want to make about the 3% category is that you can change it every month. So if you know that you are going to have certain purchases in one of those categories that I mentioned, you can actually make a change to where you earn your 3%. So it's not like you make the choice once and then you are stuck with it forever. You can change it once per month. So you could do the online shopping 1 month. If you know you're going to have a lot of gas purchases the next month, you could switch to that, or you could switch to one of the other categories that I mentioned. Now, I promised we'd get back to how that preferred rewards program could impact your rewards, and for this particular card, looking at those 3%, 2%, and 1% categories, if you had the bonus from the preferred rewards program of the either 25%, 50%, or 75%, this is what you would see in terms of the actual percentages that you would earn in those categories. And you can see with 75%, you could go all the way up to a 5.25% earning rate on those 3% categories. All right, our number 2 ranked Bank of America card is the Bank of America Premium Rewards card. Now, this is a card with a $95 annual fee, but some enhanced perks that could make that worth it. You're going to get 2 points per dollar on your travel and dining purchases with this card. You're going to get 1.5 points per dollar on everything else. There's a bonus opportunity, as of the making of this video, of 50,000 points if you spend $3,000 in the first 3 months of having the card. Those 50,000 points you could think of as being $500 in cash or in travel rewards. Now, there are a couple travel credits to consider here as well. You can get up to $100 in credits for airline incidentals. So if you use this card to pay for things like checked bags or onboard purchases or whatever, those things will be credited back to you if you've used this card. Same thing with the Global Entry or TSA Pre-program. So there's also a $100 or up to $100 credit for those programs. So if you use the card, when you apply for those, that will be credited back to you. Now, those programs are not something that happens every year, so it's more like a 4-year thing. So you'll get that credit when you do it, but you're not going to get that credit every year. So you should think of that as, maybe a first-year thing, but that now you're not going to see that for a few years afterwards, when you have to reapply for those programs. Now, this card does have some travel insurances that could interest you. There has been a pullback on travel insurances with many cards on the market recently, most notably Citibank. And so if you're looking for a card that has some travel insurances, this is one that does. I'm not going to go too much into them, but you can take a look at that. This card also has no foreign transaction fees, so there are a lot of things going on here. And of course, if you're part of the Preferred Rewards program, you could be getting some bonuses on those points earnings, making the card even more valuable. You could be getting all the way up to 3.5 points per dollar on those dining and travel purchases if you're at that 75% level, but you can see there are many other possibilities as well. All right, I'm back over here for card number 3, and that is the Bank America card. Now, this is a card that I would not recommend widely, but for certain people, it could be the perfect card. So it's a no annual fee card that gives you a 0% interest rate on purchases and on balance transfers for 15 months. So no interest on new purchases that you make for 15 months, no interest on balances that you transfer over from other credit cards that maybe are at a higher interest rate, also for 15 months. Now, even better, if you need to transfer a balance, not only can you move it here and get that 0% rate, but you're not going to pay any balance transfer fee for any balances that you move to this card within the first 60 days after the account is open. Now, if you've never transferred a balance, this might not seem like such a big deal to you, but there generally is a 3% balance transfer fee on almost all credit cards, or maybe even a higher balance transfer fee when you move a balance from one card to the other. So to get a 0% rate on a balance transfer and not to have to pay any fee is kind of a big deal. Now, all of this stuff obviously is good for those first 15 months when you use this card, but then after that there's no rewards. The interest rates may be a little bit better than other rewards cards that are on the market, but this card becomes not nearly as good once you've gone past those initial 15 months with it, and then it sort of just sits there and you're probably going to want to move on to another card. Now, our least favorite Bank of America credit card is the Bank of America Travel Rewards card. Now, the reason it's our least favorite is this is a card that offers you 1.5 points per dollar on all of your purchases with the card, but you essentially can only redeem them toward travel, and the rate you're going to get is essentially the same as a 1.5% cash back rate. So this 1.5 points could be thought of as 1.5%, and since there are many cards on the market that would just give you cash at 2%, why would you get a card that is only going to give you 1.5% and essentially forces you to redeem it only for travel when you could have 2% and redeem it for anything that you want? Now, to be fair, this is a no annual fee card that does have a nice bonus opportunity as of the making of this video. 25,000 points if you spend $1,000 with the card in the first 3 months. You could think of that as $250 worth of travel. There are no foreign transaction fees, which is fairly rare for a no annual fee card, so there are some upsides here. However, overall, we just don't see the card as having great value when you compare it to other cards on the market. That 1.5 points per dollar is okay, but really to get what I would consider full value, you have to use those points toward travel. You can redeem them toward other things with this card, but you're not going to get what I would consider 1 point equals 1 cent when you redeem it in other ways. For example, you could get cash back, but you're only going to get about 60 to 70% of that equation. So overall, an okay card, but not a great card, and as far as we're concerned, the worst of the cards sort of in the mainstream Bank of America family. Unless, of course, you are a preferred rewards member, which means you could take that 1.5 points per dollar and think of it as being potentially over 2 points or even over 2.5 points per dollar, depending on how much of a bonus you could get, based on the money that you have with Bank of America in other accounts. So that's how we see the 4 main Bank of America credit cards for sort of the mainstream credit card market. Now, Bank of America actually has some strength in a couple of other consumer markets that is worth mentioning here. Number one is in student credit cards. Bank of America offers what are sort of like clones of the cards that we talked about, or at least 3 of the 4 cards for the student market. Same rewards, just a little bit different in terms of interest rates and maybe some of the 0% offers, but there's a Bank of America Cash Rewards card for students that is strong. The Travel Rewards card is essentially the same, but it's stronger in the student market because the student credit card market as a whole is not as big or as rewarding, so that card looks a little better as a student card. And then there also is the Bank America card for students. Finally, I want to talk about the Bank of America secured credit card, a fairly competitive card in the secured card market. If you are somebody that's trying to rebuild credit or build credit for the first time and you're having trouble getting approved for other cards, this is an option for you. The way a secured card works is you put down a security deposit, you get the credit card, you use it just like any other credit card. You make purchases, you pay them off, and over time this can improve your credit score. Now, the reason I like Bank of America's card along with some other cards in the market is it has no annual fee, and secondarily, Bank of America is a major bank. So if you get the secured card, you obviously are working with a major bank, and over time, Bank of America says that it will check your credit history and obviously check how you're doing with this card and will consider giving you your security deposit back and letting you continue to use the card. So if you're going to get a secured card, it makes sense to do so with a major credit card company like Bank of America, because then you are going to end up, hopefully at some point, with an unsecured card that you're not paying for, and then you can sort of go on from there on your credit journey. So with no annual fee, this is a decent card to do this in the secured card market. Overall, while we're not necessarily a huge fan of Bank of America's credit card offerings, there are some good things going on kind of all over the place within these offers. So for the right person, they can make sense, and you could be the right person in particular if you are someone that already has a relationship with Bank of America and or Merrill Lynch, meaning you have quite a bit of money with them already, and you can take advantage of that preferred rewards programs. You get that 25, 50, 75% bonus on your points or cash back. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we have personal finance news, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.